Hello, Football Manager World. I'm Paul, and you're watching the newest YouTube channel dedicated to Football Manager, FM American Style. Today we're going to get into FM26. We're going to create our first manager, and we're going to pick a team. When we get to the team selection process, I will explain why I pick the teams that I pick. And then once we finish selecting a team and we get to the main screen of FM26, I'll discuss my team building philosophies and how I get lower league teams promoted quickly to the top tier, and then how to get them to stay there. So let's go ahead and click Start New Career. We're going to click Create a Manager. I did create one already, but I didn't like him. There were some settings that didn't seem to get saved, so I just restarted and created a new manager now. We're going to pick this guy because I think if I was a real football manager, I would probably be a suit and tie kind of guy. Beyond that, I don't really care what they look like. I don't care what nationality they are or any of that kind of stuff. It's not like I spend a lot of time looking at them, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit continue. And the first thing we do is we put our name. So I'm going to put Paul for my first name, of course. And my last name starts with a B, so we'll use that. We'll pick our pronoun, his or him. And we'll set our birth date. This was the first setting that didn't get saved the first time I made a manager, and I don't know why. So we're going to try it again, and hopefully it's going to save this time. So yeah, January 1977, that is not my birthday, but I'm picking that. I hit confirm and it did not save it. So I wonder if this is a bug that FM26 is going to have to fix. Let's try it one more time. Go back to 1971 this time and hit confirm. And no, it does not seem to remember what year you pick. I don't know why. Yeah, no matter what I do, it won't remember the year that I was born or any change of date. So we're just going to have to put up with that and move on. So this was the second part of manager creation that didn't seem to save correctly. I had initially picked American as my nationality, German as my second nationality, and I added French as a language, and it didn't seem to remember any of that. It said I was German. So because I think I'm going to manage in Germany this year, at least to start, I'm going to pick Austrian because my family is actually of Austrian descent. So we're going to go down to Austria, if I can find it. There it is. And we're going to go down. I know that we are from the region of Vienna, so I will find Vienna. And there we go. I'm not going to bother with anything else because, like I said, last time it didn't seem to remember that stuff. I know you tend to learn new languages as you move from one country to the next, at least in previous versions of FM. So if we end up in France or England or wherever, we'll go ahead and learn those languages, I'm sure. But for now, we're just going to stick with German, and that we're of Austrian descent. We're not going to add any other languages because, like I said, I don't think it saved it last time. So we're going to hit, so you have to pick a second nationality, even though I don't want one. I'm going to pick French because I think I might end up in France at some point. My goal with this early save is to maybe try to replay some of the saves in previous versions of FM that I struggled with. So I'm going to pick French as my second nationality. And that means I should know German and French. So we're going to hit next. We're going to pick for a reputation, I guess is the best way to call this. We're going to say that I was a second tier star because my hope is that a lower league team would be happy to hire a guy who was a second tier star. So therefore I'm going to pick that. I'm going to say that I was a recruitment guy because I like that part of the game the best. So therefore, I would pick director because that would be what I would be in real life if I was involved in football management. We'll say that I was known nationally, so that should pick my reputation. So there we go. The next screen, we're going to pick, I'm going to go for National A license because again, I intend to start at a slightly lower league level. I'll tell you right now, I think my first save is going to be 1860 Munich. It's one of the teams that I struggled with a lot in a previous version of FM. I think it was FM 23. So I want to see if I can have better success with them this time. So I think National A license is a appropriate license level for a team in the third tier of Germany. So that's where I'm going. On this screen, you get to pick three things. It was a little confusing to me at first. I had to read some of it because some things didn't make a whole lot of sense, such as system builder, I would think would be similar to tactician, but system builder apparently specifically means being good at set pieces. I'm not concerned that much with set pieces, so therefore we're going to play direct football, which means we're a pragmatist. We like to develop young players. I like to have young teams. My average team age is usually around 23, 24 years old. So I think, therefore, developing youngsters is a good trait to have. And energetic because I do like to play high tempo football, even if it's at a lower league level. I feel it might give me a leg up against the competition. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. On this screen, you get to pick two things. Some of this seems odd to me. Convincing means that you are a motivator. Inspirational means you inspire others. And resilient means that you're a born leader. Isn't that all the same? Isn't a born leader a good motivator and that kind of thing? But okay, I'm going to pick convincing and driven because I think driven gives you a little bit of an advantage when it comes to dealing with the board, and motivator because it gives you good reactions to locker room team discussions. So there we go. We're all set, I believe. I don't think there's anything that you can do on this screen other than change things if you want to. I don't want to. I'm going to keep it the way it is. I'm going to hit next. And I believe here we are now going to be, yep, all right, so on created. And now we're going to go to team selection. So the next thing, I want to do a custom or advanced setup for a couple of reasons. First of all, and I've been in this screen once, so you'll see that it's not default. I need to change these nations. I'm not sure how some of them even got in here. I have been in this screen before, but this isn't the setup that I was on. Can I just delete USA and Argentina? Yes. And Brazil, delete that. Now I've got England and Germany. I need to add three more, and those three are European countries. I want France, Italy, and Spain. Where's France? France is there. Come on, click the box. Thank you. Italy is over here. And Spain is down here. So this is kind of the standard 5-nation setup I usually use when I'm looking to get into the Champions League and make some waves in the Champions League. I'm going to go 3 league levels down on every nation. So Sky Bet down to League 1. So that's 3 leagues in England. And you'll See, I'll explain why in a minute. France, we're going to go with League One, Two, and French National only. Germany, we're going to go, obviously, if we're picking a Bundesliga 3 team, we need that level, third Liga. Italy, we're going to go Serie C. And Spain, we're going to go down to the first Federation Division. The reason I do that is I like to have it kind of even as far as the number of leagues that are loaded and hopefully the number of players that are loaded from each league. I do need to change the database size. I like to have a large database. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to pick large. And then the last thing you do on this screen, I believe, is you pick the start date. I was looking earlier, and I think the start date I like the best is England, July 7th. I like to start as early as possible, so that's what we're going to go. I'm pretty sure that's the earliest. Let me go through really quickly and look. Yeah, that seems to be the earliest. The further south you go in Europe, it seems like they start later. So I'm going to go ahead and pick July 7th. Everything else I'm going to leave alone, and we're going to hit next. And it's going to create the database, and I will come back when the database is created. Okay, we're back. We're now in the team selection screen. As you can see, it looks like we landed on England. Yep. As I mentioned previously in the video, I want to start with a team that I struggled with in the past, which will be 1860 Munich. They are in Germany, and they are in the third Liga. And here they are, TSV 1860 München. So we're going to select them. They do have a nice stadium. So a little bit about how I select teams. I like to select small teams in big cities with the goal of knocking off the big team in the big city, which is why I select 1860 Munich, because I hope to be able to knock off Bayern Munich. Obviously, it didn't work the first time I tried it, but we're going to give it another shot. The other thing I like to do is I like teams with decent sized stadiums, usually 15,000 or more capacity. The reason for that is I have found it very difficult in previous versions of FM to get boards to build or expand their stadiums. Even if I had a team reach the top tier, even have success in European football, I couldn't get teams to build or expand their stadiums. So therefore, I like to start with a stadium that's decent size. And Germany especially has a lot of teams with a lot of pretty big stadiums. So that's what we're going to go with. 1860 Munich Stadium is a little bit small compared to a lot of them. It says 15,000 at Stadion Stade München. So that's where we're going. And we're going to hit Manager Profile. So there we go. We're going to pick me because that's the only manager there is. We're average at a lot of stuff. That's good. That's good. Everything looks good. We're competent at other things. It's interesting now that they've done away with the point system for coaches and managers, and instead you get average or competent or bad, that kind of thing. So that's an interesting change to FM26 that I'm noticing right away. So you can see, again, it has completely changed my profile. I selected German as my nationality, and it's saying that I'm French. So, that makes me want to change, because if I'm not German, if the game is not saying that I'm German, then how would I speak German at a new team? So you know what? I'm going to go back. And the other team I had thought about picking was another team that I struggled with, actually the team that I probably had the most trouble with, and that was in France. That was AS Saint-Étienne, which is in France. They are in the second tier, Men's Ligue 2. We're going to go there. We're going to pick AS Saint Etienne right there. And let's hit next, and let's see if now we are still speaking French, or are we now German? That would figure, wouldn't it? No, we're French, so that's good. We speak French, we're managing a French team. This is great because Saint Etienne was the team that sacked me before the first transfer window opened in January. It was that bad. So this is going to be a real challenge. Let's go ahead and hit next. Start game. Here we are at the traditional press conference screen when a new guy is selected as manager. I've always found it funny that it says eyebrows were raised because people doubt whether or not this guy can actually manage. It doesn't matter how good you could have won 20 straight Champions Leagues and it would still say that. So it's pretty funny, and it still says it here now, but that's fine, whatever, I don't care. I do see that it does not give me some of the other options that we had in previous versions of FM, but that's fine. Going to begin the career. I believe this is where we save the game, so we're going to call it ASSE1 because this is our first save of FM26. Going to save the game. And here we are. We're in FM26. We're in the opening screen, what they're now calling the portal, which is interesting. I have to navigate around to learn how it's different, learn what I can do. I know there's some things about bookmarks that are really important, so I'll have to figure out how to do that for tomorrow's video. I want to end today by just discussing my team building philosophy. So when I'm managing at a lower league club, I tend to try and find players who, in my opinion, might, quote, break the game, unquote. What I mean by that is I look for physical outliers, really tall guys who have great jumping and or great heading, really fast guys, anybody who might be able to dominate their league level because of their physical attributes. Now, in the second tier in France, that's not going to be super obvious. There's a lot of good teams in France, even down in Ligue 2. So it's going to be difficult to find guys who are going to be able to dominate at that level. And then, of course, once we gain promotion to Ligue 1, it's going to be really hard because not only are we going to have to try to survive against teams like Lyon and PSG, but we have to try and figure out how to beat those teams. And those teams, especially like PSG, have major, major world-class talent. It's going to take a while to get this team to even be able to compete with PSG, but we're going to give it our best shot. So this is where we're going to end today. Before we go, I want to please like the video, comment down below, tell me what I did wrong during manager creation. Maybe I missed something which would explain why some of the settings didn't save. I don't know, but if I did something wrong, please tell me. Please subscribe. And please hit that notification bell. It certainly helps to subscribe, especially with a channel as young as this one. You'll literally be in on the ground floor at the very beginning. And the more people we get to subscribe quickly, the faster the channel will grow. So please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. So this has been FM American Style. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow.